So in this video, I'm going to share with you a documentary of one of our clients' webinar. On the launch day, the webinar funnel made 0 rupees. Not a single sales. And I'm going to tell you why that was the best thing that could ever happen. And how it become a paying business for this particular client anyway. So this is a documentary type video. I'm going to cover everything. What are the obstacles the client have faced before came to us? How we implement the webinar funnel inside this client business, and how we scale it further. Okay, this is the story of how we save the failed webinar funnel. Because as you can see in the screenshot, in the first ever webinar, because we providing a done for you service, done for you webinar installed in 14 days. So in 14 days we have work on their offer, on their funnel script, the presentation, the ads. 15th day we launch the ads with everything. 21st day we have our first webinar. Okay, and guess what, after putting a lot of effort, me and my team, and of course the client, and client have a lot of expectation. In the first webinar, all you get is a 4 showed up. 4 people are there in the webinar. Out of these 4 people, you get nothing. Of course, you can't expect that you get a sales in the first ever webinar, and when you have only 4 people showed up in the webinar. And I'm going to basically tell you that how that was the best thing that could ever happen, because and this is going to be very interesting. Okay, now before I tell you the story, before I get into the main part, let me just introduce this client named Abhishek. Abhishek is someone who has a 15-year of IT experience, and he trained agile teams, at TCS, Buildersoft, Concentric, Wells Fargo. So he went from making 6 lakh per annum to nearly 20 lakh in his own career path. So this is not someone who does not know his craft. He genuinely one of the best at what he does, and that's what makes what happened to him so frustrating. Abhishek run a private limited company called Seafood Flow Technology. You can check it out at www.seafoodflow.com. Now let's just go to the part 1, the villain, the failure. So Abhishek had a real offer before came to us. We don't directly enroll our clients into our programs. We first did a close calls where we figure out the problems, the current situation, and where they wanted to reach. So we did that with Abhishek, and we find out that Abhishek had a real offer, a real expertise. So he did what everyone's basically tells you to do. He hired an agency to run a webinar and bring in student. Now this agency has no experience doing webinars, and that was the disaster. 979 leads came in. Out of all these, one person showed up in the webinar. Imagine that you put a 2 month of efforts, you hire an agency who cost you tens of thousands of rupees. You put money in ads, tens of thousands of rupees. You get 979 leads, and in the first webinar, you get only one show up. Now, this is the disaster. And that's what actually happened with Abhishek. And he lost around 90,000 rupees in this particular process before came to us. So he started to believe that maybe webinar just did not work for me, which is normal, because if this has happened to anyone, everyone can believe that webinar just does not work for me. I find out that the problem is not in the webinar, the problem is in the approach that these guys are taking for Abhishek's business for the webinar is totally wrong. And because of that, he was close to giving up on this whole idea. And that was when he came to us, and we find out, we looked under the hood, explained everything. So the part 2, rebuild. So how we rebuild everything, let's just talk about that. So the first thing that I did was not build anything, as I told you. I was figure out why the old approach failed. And what I find out that the old funnel let people register for free. And I hope this is going to be sound familiar to you. So it actually the problem, because free registration bring the people with the zero commitment. So almost nobody showed up, and that exactly what happened with Abhishek. Free registration, no commitment, no show up. Maximum time, specifically in a country like India, you're going to get a tier kicker or the time waster, because there is no commitment. And this is the first problem that I've identified. And after that, I find out more small problems. The offer was not positioning right. The price model was wrong. There was no real system pulling people from interested to paying. And it was not just a one big mistake, as I told you, it was a dozen small ones that added up to a zero. This is what I find out in the first ever call that I did with Abhishek. What we can do? We rebuild the entire thing from scratch, and every decision had a reason. Most people charge nothing for a webinar. We charge a small fees of 49 rupees. And because a tiny commitment massively increase who actually showed up. Mark this thing, because a tiny commitment massively increase who actually showed up. So we wrote a 90-minute webinar presentation built on a proven structure. We built the registration funnel, a checkout page, automation email, a WhatsApp follow-up system, ad creatives, the whole mechanism, and on the 15th day we started running ads. And I'm going to show you exactly what we have built. I'm going to go through all the funnels, all the slide deck, the ads and everything, emails and everything. Okay, we don't use any like complicated softwares. We take things very easy because we have our communication channel on a WhatsApp. We create a particular separate group for client where me, my team and the client are there, so that the conversation is easy. Because in India, WhatsApp conversation are more easier than other softwares. Okay, so let me just walk you through all the resources that we have built for Abhishek. You know, the funnels, the emails, the ads, everything step by step. Okay, what we are doing is we manage these kind of docs. For example, this is the project Abhishek doc. Inside this project, everything is there. These are the document tabs. You know, so in these document tabs, everything is there starting from the onboarding call, because in the onboarding call we have strategized everything and basically clear the next 14 days plan. For example, yeah, this is the 14-day build plan. So what we are going to do day 1 and day 2, then day 3, day 4, day 5, day 7, 8, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So that, because this particular doc is accessed by the team and the client as well, so that client know exactly if this is the day 3 what the team is basically building. Before launching anything, we first, you know, review it from our client, and then we proceed to launch that particular doc or maybe that particular resource. So first thing we did is we built the founding member offer, the offer for this program, you know, and then we started building the funnels, basically the funnel landing page copy, you know, the sales page, because it's a paid webinar. Also you can see the program enrollment sales page copy. Okay, then there is a checkout page, then we have our email, WhatsApp sequence, you know, the messages for the nurture and for closing the client. So the basically pre-webinar and post-webinar email slash direct DMs. Okay, so total 12 like messages we have sent to the leads before and after the webinar. So 5 pre-webinar email, 4 WhatsApp show up reminders, and 3 post webinar follow up emails. Okay, so this is the sequence that we are following for each and every clients. And then we have our WhatsApp group activity, like 24 hours before, what are the WhatsApp group activities that the sales team has to done. And then we have a post webinar timeline as well. Like post webinar timeline means after the webinar, what are the tasks that a sales team has to done in order to convert those clients who had not joined the program in the webinar. Okay, so we have a T0 time 0, the moment the webinar ends, right after 12 p.m, before anyone leave, when people are still in the Zoom, then what the sales team has to done, you know, basically the sales team is going to leave that enrollment link. And then T15 to T30, a thank you plus link message will sales team, a sales guy leave in the WhatsApp group. Okay, then T 1.5 hours to 2 hours, same day recap email, the email 3 email sequence that I'm talking about after the webinar, that's automation is set by the team 2 hours after the webinar and sent to all the attendees basically. So T2 to T3 hours, that means 2 hours to 3 hours, then 3 to 4 hours, and then the next 24 hours, what are the sales guy has to done in order to close those clients who had not joined the program in the webinar. So that's how this all email, WhatsApp, pre post webinar sequence look like. I think it's a 2025 messages pre and post webinar, and then direct follow up messages that we are using to convert the client. First we nurture them, we are give them reason to show up in the webinar, and then after the webinar, if someone did not buy in the webinar itself, we follow up with them and close them in the 24 hours. So that's our strategy look like. Okay, then we have a complete webinar script. So as you know that we have built the complete webinar script. So this is the script that we have built. It's I think 54, 55, 60 something pages. I'll show you the slides as well. Okay, then we build the video ads script. Okay, with the hooks and the main part, the middle part, and the call to action. So let me just walk you through these resources one by one. So this is the software that we are using for our client, FlexiFunnel. We have, this is a CRM that we are using to manage all the, you know, the landing pages and emails and everything. So this is the dashboard. We just started running ads for Abhishek, and this is how the numbers look like. Okay, so sales conversion ratio that we have is almost 5% on a cold audience, and consider that Abhishek is just started doing the webinar. He had no testimonial case study for his offer, very freshly newly launched, and we are able to convert at a 5%, which is a big deal on a cold audience. So till now we have generated 62 paid registration for Abhishek, and Abhishek has done only 2 webinar till now. This is the webinar funnel. Okay, for this is the first sales page where people land after they see the ads. How to get hired as a Scrum Master in 2026 without 3+ year of experience. Live masterclass, the 5-step system that help 200 plus IT professionals break the paradox and land 10 plus LPA Scrum Master role. Very specific, you know, to the point, reflect the pain point of the next person. That's why we are getting a 5% conversion direct to ads. Okay, so this is how the funnel look like. This is the sales page, and then we have the checkout page, you know, and then we have a thank you page. So on the thank you page, we basically welcoming them, you know, very simple. And then what we do is we ask them to join the WhatsApp community, very important. Then we basically tell them to complete this 4-step right now. Check your email, open the bonus pack. Step 2, save the date in your calendar. Step 3, join the WhatsApp community. Step 4, come prepare on Saturday. So every Saturday 11 a.m. we are doing this webinar. Let me just walk you through the ads creatives as well. So this is how the ads creatives look like for Abhishek. You know, these are performing really well. If I just showed you the ad manager of Abhishek. So 27th June we started running ads. Okay, today's 10th July, and this particular campaign had generated, you know, 20 purchases with the 528 cost per results, which is amazing, you know. So that's how these ads are performing. So we have newly launched these new images 10th July, as you can see. And so even before that, the cost per registration is a little higher, but over the period of time, because we have freshly started this ad manager, we have came down to 528, which is a big deal. So these are the creatives that we are using: chat GPT generated or AI generated static ads. We are not using video ads because of clients concern. Clients are not really comfortable doing that video ads. Yeah, but we are still able to convert at a 5% direct to ads. Let me just show you the slide deck. Okay, this is the slide deck that we have built for Abhishek. Scrum Master Career Masterclass starting at 11 a.m. Why are you still stuck? How to get hired as a Scrum Master in 2026 without a 3 years of experience? What you will walk away with today? And then Abhishek Tripathi. This is the row of slides. The final version is basically we hand over to the Abhishek. So he has attached the images and everything. Okay, his team basically. So this is how the high quality graphics, images, perfectly use of the slides, as you can see, best of the best we have built, in terms of copywriting and then the design as well. So these are the offers: Scrum Master Fast Track, okay, introduction, 8 session, live session, 4 weekends, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, 3 hours, Saturday plus Sunday, 24 hours, curriculum, the practical edge, toolkit plus AI advantage, okay. The total worth is 75,000. All you need to pay is 9,999 plus GST, And here are some bonuses. Bonus number 1, 2, 3, 4. 7-day guarantee. No question asked. How to enroll? This is the link, and that's it. Then we have our question and answer session, and that's how we sums up the webinar. Now I'm going to tell you something which nobody is going to tell you, man. And I'm really serious because everyone on the internet showing you the wins, but what I'm going to show you is the defeat. Okay, so weeks of work, every pages, every email, every line of a script is ready. We picked the launch date and we turned on the ads, and we waited to see if any of it would actually work. And then the launch day came. I'm going to show you something which nobody will share. Nobody has the gut to share all of this. So part 3, the launch. So here's the honest truth about the launch day. We got 7 registration, literally in a 5 day. We have 4 to 5 day to advertise the webinar, and in the 5 day we got 7 registration only. 4 people out of 7, 4 people showed up in the live webinar. The room was tiny. Abhishek delivered the full 90 minute, and he was genuinely good. People were engaged, asking real question, and at the end, when he made the offer, nobody bought. Zero sales. That's hurt more than anything. For me as a agency owner, for me as a consultant, this is the worst situation ever, and that hurt more than the breakup. I'm serious. And I'm not going to pretend that did not sting. It did. So 7 registration, 4 attendees, 0 live sales. But here is what most people get wrong about the webinars. The sales does not happen live. It happen in the follow-up. Especially like case like Abhishek. Because Abhishek is someone who just started building his offer, which is not proven, by the way. It's very fresh. We have built it for the first time. He had never run the webinar, and this is the first time he's conducting the webinar in front of the serious people who had paid something. And yeah, so this is the situation basically. So we did not panic. This is my responsibility to make sure that the team and the client did not panic. Then the system kicked in. Personal messages, the pre after webinar sequence that I just showed you, we started implementing that. The personal message to every attendees, the 2-step call structure. I would warm them up, then position Abhishek as an expert closer. Okay, and we were honest, no pressure, no hype throughout these messages, calls, just a genuine helping people decide if this was the right for them, because that's what our first priority is. And one of those people, out of these 4 people, the one attendee's name is Kinjal. So Kinjal had one real concern: whether someone from the non-IT background could realistically make this work. So Abhishek got a call with her, and Abhishek did not oversell. He told her the honest truth about what it would take. So she enrolled, our first founding member, and I still know that moment when Abhishek messaged me that, hey Firoz, we are successfully able to enroll Kinjal as our first cohort member. And I was like, that is the best moment, because that proved that whatever we have built till now, or the sequence that we are following, is working. That's the biggest relief, you know. And today we run Abhishek's webinar, managing webinars every single week. We have generated over 60 something leads, and we are able to convert, at a 10%. So right now we have a 5 to 6 clients who has enrolled into the program. We have only done the 2 webinar till now. So of course, this is not the massive or a massive win, but consider the Abhishek situation, I think this is the best. 10% conversion in the webinar. This is good. I really proud of the work me and my team has put, and of course the kind of cooperation that I get from my client Abhishek as well. So I really appreciate that as well. So yeah. So here is what this whole thing has taught me. The failed funnel is almost never a failed offer. This is very important to understand. It's a broken system around a good offer. Okay. Abhishek did not need to be more talented. He already was talented. He need the right machine around his expertise. This is a reality. So if you have got a real offer but your funnel is not working, that's exactly what we do. That's the funnel flow. If you need any inquiry, I'm going to attach a link so that you can book a direct call with me or my team. You can reach out us using that link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you like documentary kind of a video, I don't know this is exactly a documentary video, but this is the first time I'm doing, so I don't know exactly, but I hope if you like it, and if you want, if this is something that resonates with you, you are a coach, consultant, course creator, or a agency owner, freelancer, then must follow and leave your thought, your comment in the comment box, because that's encourage me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the other video. Bye bye.